going on, man? It's like, you know, the worst thing you could do to like a mean person is is be mean back, because then when you're mean back, it justifies them being mean in the first place to you. You know what I mean? The way you really truly combat the people fueled by hate. You know, you can't beat hate with hate. I mean, evil is only as strong as evil. The only way you actually really can beat true evil is to repay it with good somehow. As hard as that sounds to do, you know, that's what must be done, because you watch a person's action, you know, you see all their, you know, all the pain that was caused somewhere somehow to generate all that anger, and then all that anger it took to have that cunningness. You know, the way they set you up for a situation to get explosive verbally, you know what I mean? Like a high intensity verbal psychological warfare situation. I mean, that's worse than the physical fighting, you know what I'm saying? It's like kids get spanked, some kids get roughed up, man, and they grow up pretty easy, you know what I mean? I'm not saying roughed up, you know what I mean, horribly, but you know what I mean, you know, say, you know, you got caught doing something wrong, daddy kicked your ass, you know what I'm saying, or mama smacked you up with a shoe upside your head. I mean, you might have deserved that, you know, as long as they didn't kill you or cause you no great long-term harm physically, you know what I mean? That's sometimes that's how people. It's the best way to teach people, you know. But and speaking from experience, you know, that stuff works, man. It's not the pain, it's the shame that really sets you straight. You know what I mean? The shame that it generates when someone you love has to call you out on something and take such a harsh measure. You know what I mean? To combat your behavior. You know, and that's any person, you know, that has some sense of morality, or you know, what right or wrong, would be like, yeah, I could sympathize with that. But really, that's exactly what it takes, man. It's sympathy, okay? You got to be like, damn, why, man? I feel bad, man, that you got that much anger. I feel bad that there's that much hate and confusion, and how many lies you've been told that's caused you to be this way. So I mean, the best, you can't even say it. You got to think it, because if you say it, it might open such a can of worms. Because people who use all this violent, you know, verbalage, man, and like behavior, body language, you know what I'm saying, and some to resolve issues between people. I mean, it's all for show, putting on a show, or it's like, I think some people, when they get in these high intensity arguments and all this emotion, it releases some kind of chemical in their brain that gives them a euphoria for a minute, you know, or some kind of nostalgia or something. There's some kind of lacking. There's something they're seeking. So it's like they're active. It's like seeking a drug. They're seeking a confrontation to where they can blow up and they can give you everything they've been saving for all the situations that they have no control over. They can't do nothing here. So look, the first person who gives me a reason, I'm letting them have it all. That's basically what these people are. They're psychological time bombs, man, just walking around. I mean, it might just, get one of those stupid situations where someone's showing out, making a scene, and that it just ends that way. Like, man, that was whack, man. I wish I didn't have to see that. You know, that's how most of these things should end, and it's good that they do. Because on the other side, on the other extreme, yeah, some people that got that much anger and you know, resentment, and they're just waiting for someone to take it out on, sometimes results in worse things, you know. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm only talking about people who like to go for the jugular vein, is what the technique's called. It's when you say everything that you know that will hurt a person's feelings all at once. Most people can't handle that shit. You know, they're gonna take it personal, right to heart, and the immediate response when someone goes for your jugular is to go for their jugular. Which, you know, I can't blame people if they, you know, take that route, because that's what that technique is designed to do. It's listen, I'm gonna go so evil that's gonna force you to go evil, and then I can feel better about doing evil because you're doing it too, and you're actively engaging and participating in it with me. In a way, I mean, it's so simple yet so profound. I mean, how vicious that cycle is, man. That this the merry-go-round of retribution. You know, for whatever, man. It's like, all right, life. I hate life so bad, man. I'm gonna take it out on someone who is enjoying themselves. You know, I mean, that's how these people think. Their minds are just grasping, they're feeling, they got their tentacles out, looking for any weakness, any sign of emotion, any trigger words, anything that generates a certain type of typical response. You know, you got to take all this shit into consideration, and you really got to come at it calmly. Look, calm plus action equals internal power. It's the same thing in the verbal, mental gymnastics, combat situations. Same thing applies, man. The calm man ain't gonna act a fool, and it's gonna diffuse the situation. It's gonna take away. It's like, all right, this motherfucker wants fire. It's not putting water on the fire. Actually, sometimes it's taking the oxygen out of it, so the fire just burns itself out. That's exactly the technique that I'm talking about here. I mean, the extinguish method is too abrupt, it's too quick. Sometimes it doesn't get the point across, since the person done overstep their bounds to take it to such extremes to call you out into the psychological engagement. You know, so when it's like, since you called me out, I'm gonna starve this fire. I'm not gonna feed it more gasoline, and I'm not just gonna extinguish it. Instead, I'm gonna go so far as to let it burn itself out. So you kind of let it sink in a little bit sometimes. I mean, I don't know. That's when you're more advanced, and you got to deflect a lot of this negative energy people throw at you if you want to help the situation. If you can't deflect, then avoid, and then leave, and give it time. Go for a walk before you come back to the argument, because it always helps. You don't want to. It's like, all right, you can go punch a tree, you know, it kind of hurts your hands, right? But if this situation is a cactus, now to go beat up a cactus, really, there's no, you're gonna get beat up. You're gonna be stabbed up. You know, when a person's a cactus, don't engage with it. Separate, distance is good. Don't add fuel to this fire. You know what I mean? Starve it, make it burn itself out. Let it get hot, then just start cutting back the oxygen, and then it'll go out. Yeah, that's the tactic.